Hashtag sister-in-law tried to break into my house with a locksmith to plan her wedding at my home without my permission. Am I crazy here? I, female, 35, inherited this Victorian mansion from my grandma 2 years ago, and now my sister-in-law, female, 27, literally tried to break into it to plan her wedding there without my permission, like with a locksmith and everything. I know how this sounds, like I'm making it up or exaggerating, but I swear on everything, this actually happened yesterday. Okay, so some background, I guess. My grandmother basically raised me after my parents died when I was young. Car accident, I was 7. She had this beautiful Victorian mansion called Rosewood that's been in our family for generations. It's not like massive or anything. Okay, it kind of is, but I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. But it's definitely big and has this gorgeous garden my grandma spent her whole life perfecting. When she passed away 2 years ago, she left it to me, which honestly wasn't a surprise since I was her only grandchild and we were super close. The mansion is really nice. It has a staircase from the 1800s, my grandmother's old china collection, and tons of other family stuff that can't be replaced. I've spent the last 2 years and well over 6 figures. I don't want to say exactly how much, but it's been a lot, restoring it. It's been a labor of love while also balancing my career as an architectural consultant specializing in historical renovations. Oh, and I should mention, I'm not some rich person or anything. I make a good living, but not like mansion buying money. The only reason I can afford to maintain this place is because 1, I inherited it free and clear. 2, I have professional connections in restoration, and 3, I live pretty frugally otherwise. Just wanted to clarify that because I realize how it sounds when someone says, I have a mansion, lol. I met my husband Michael, male, 37, at a charity event about 8 years ago. He's generally supportive, but has always had trouble standing up to his family, especially his mom Sharon. I've tried so hard to connect with my mother-in-law over the years, like embarrassingly hard to be honest, but she's always kept me at this weird polite distance while clearly favoring her daughter Ashley, female, 27. Like, I once spent weeks planning this surprise birthday party for Sharon, arranged everything from her favorite foods to contacting relatives she hadn't seen in years. Guess who ended up taking credit for most of the arrangements? Yep, Ashley. And Sharon just ate it up. Whatever, I've learned to live with it, mostly. And maybe I'm being too sensitive about it. I don't know, I sometimes wonder if I'm just jealous of their close relationship because I lost my mom so young. A few weeks ago, Ashley got engaged to her boyfriend, Eric, male, 29. He works in commercial real estate and acts like he's loaded, but I've overheard enough conversations to suspect he's financially overextended. He's always talking about these big deals that never seem to materialize while driving a car. I'm pretty sure he can't afford. So last Tuesday, I came home early from work with a massive migraine. I walk in to find Ashley, Sharon, and some woman I've never met before wandering through my house, measuring spaces and discussing flower arrangements. I was like, what the actual F is happening right now? I asked what they were doing in my house. Ashley told me they were planning her wedding there and introduced the wedding planner. She talked about having the ceremony in the garden and was trying to decide where to put the dancing. I was completely confused since I never agreed to host her wedding. Sharon said they didn't think I'd mind since it's family and Ashley has always loved the house. The wedding planner looked uncomfortable when she realized I had no idea about this. I firmly told them I hadn't agreed to host any wedding and no one had even asked me. Ashley got defensive and said I barely used this massive place and it was just for one day. I tried explaining about all the valuable items, the liability concerns, and the fact that I just spent a fortune restoring everything. Sharon kept dismissing my concerns, saying they'd be careful. My migraine was getting worse, so I asked them all to leave. The wedding planner left right away, but Sharon and Ashley took their time, with Ashley muttering something about me being selfish as she walked out. This led to weeks of tension. Ashley kept texting me about wedding plans, acting like my no was just temporary. Sharon called Michael almost daily to pressure him. Michael kept suggesting that maybe we should just help them out. I was so frustrated that he wouldn't back me up. I mean, I get that he wants everyone to get along, and maybe I should have been more diplomatic. I don't know. I've always had trouble with confrontation, something I'm working on in therapy, by the way, so maybe I didn't handle it the best way. Everything got worse at a family dinner at my in-laws' house last weekend. Michael's dad brought up the wedding situation and told me I was being difficult since I wasn't using the whole house myself. I tried again to explain my concerns about property damage, the historical value of items, and the fact that no one had even asked before making plans. Ashley interrupted me and accused me of always being selfish with family and never supporting her. Michael weakly suggested finding a compromise without actually defending me. Then Sharon said that since the mansion just fell into my lap and I didn't work for it, the least I could do was share with family. I was furious. I defended my grandmother's decision and pointed out all the work and money I've put into preserving the property. I said I wasn't going to apologize for inheriting my family home, just like Ashley doesn't apologize for the car they bought her last year. That's when Ashley suddenly stood up and yelled at me that I was just a fat cow who's jealous because my own wedding was so pathetic. The entire table went silent. I was fighting back tears. After what felt like forever, Michael finally told Ashley she needed to apologize, but it was too little too late. I grabbed my purse and left, driving home alone while Michael stayed behind to smooth things over. After that disaster, I noticed Ashley's car parked outside the mansion several times when I wasn't home. Once, my neighbor texted me that she saw Ashley walking the grounds with the wedding planner. I decided to install security cameras, just a Ring doorbell and a couple of cameras covering the main entrances. Well, yesterday, my security app alerted me to motion at my front door while I was at work. I opened it to see live footage of Ashley arriving with Sharon, the wedding planner, and a locksmith who was examining my front door. I immediately left work and raced home, calling Michael to tell him what was happening. He sounded shocked, but also said maybe there's an explanation, which made me even more angry. When I pulled into my driveway, they were still there. I confronted them and asked what they thought they were doing. Ashley claimed they were just seeing if the locks needed to be changed for security during the wedding. When I told them to leave, they refused. Sharon said I was overreacting and that since they were already there, they might as well continue planning. I told them I was calling the police if they didn't leave immediately. They thought I was bluffing. Ashley actually laughed and said I wouldn't dare. When the police arrived, Ashley got hysterical, screaming that I was ruining her special day and that I had promised she could use the mansion. The officers tried to calm everyone down, but Ashley kept escalating, even trying to push past them to get to the door. Eventually, they arrested her for attempted breaking and entering. Now my phone is blowing up with angry texts and calls from Michael's entire family. Michael says he supports me, but he's clearly stressed about the whole situation. He keeps saying I had every right, but also that maybe we could have handled it differently. Part of me feels justified. They tried to break into my house, but another part feels guilty about causing such family discord. Did I overreact by calling the police? I feel violated by what they tried to do, but arresting Ashley has created this huge family drama that's affecting Michael too. I don't know what to do next. Edit. Some people are asking why Sharon had a key to my house. I gave it to her for emergencies only after Michael insisted, since his parents live closer than any of our friends. I've already changed all the locks. A few people asked about the wedding venue situation. Ashley and Eric are supposedly planning this 200-plus person wedding with a sit-down dinner, dancing, etc. The Grand Hotel downtown would be perfect for this, and is where most big weddings happen in our area, but Ashley said it was too basic. I think the real issue is dollars. For those asking about pressing charges, I haven't decided yet. The initial arrest was just for the immediate situation, but I need to decide whether to pursue formal charges. That's part of what has me so conflicted. Thanks for all the support. I showed Michael some of these comments, and I think it's helping him see how not normal his family's behavior is. We're talking about couples counseling to work on the family boundary issues. Now for the first update. So it's been a little over a week since everything went down with Ashley getting arrested. Thanks for all the support on my last post, by the way. I honestly wasn't expecting so many responses. I guess I should have known this wouldn't just blow over, but I had no idea how bad things would get. First off, Ashley was released on bail the morning after the incident. Of course, Sharon and Craig, my in-laws, posted her bail immediately. What I wasn't prepared for was logging onto Facebook later that day and seeing Ashley's ridiculous post with her literally crying in a selfie. Like, obviously, posed crying, you know what I mean, with this long paragraph about being the victim of a heartless sister-in-law who is deliberately trying to ruin the most special day of my life. I mean, what? She tried to break into my house with a locksmith. The comments were even worse. Hundreds of people saying stuff like, stay strong, and some people are so selfish and family should come first. And these weren't just random internet strangers. These were extended family members and mutual friends we've known for years. People who know me suddenly acting like I'm some kind of monster. And the pressure campaign my in-laws have launched is honestly insane. Sharon calls both me and Michael multiple times every day. Craig has shown up at Michael's office 3 times for these man-to-man talks. I've gotten texts from Michael's aunts and cousins, and even people I barely know, saying how disappointed they are in me. The worst was this email from Michael's grandmother, who I've always been close with. She wrote about her deep disappointment in my lack of family spirit and how, in our family, we support each other. I literally cried for like an hour after reading it. We used to bake together, and she taught me her secret recipes and everything. Now she won't even answer my calls. Michael and I had this really tense conversation the other night. We were getting ready for bed, and he was being all quiet and weird. He told me maybe we should just apologize to keep the peace. I was like, are you serious right now? He said he wasn't saying I was wrong, but family is complicated. And I was like, she tried to break into our house, Michael, with a locksmith. How is this complicated? He told me his family can be a bit much, but they're not bad people, and they're just upset. I asked him why he can't just stand up to them and have my back for once. He got all defensive and said he's stuck in the middle. That's his family, and I'm his wife, and he feels torn. I broke down crying. I couldn't help it. I feel so freaking alone in all of this. Like, the one person who should absolutely have my back 100% is like, well, maybe we should just let them walk all over us to keep the peace. He hugged me and everything, but then still ended with saying we need to find a way to make this right. Like I'm the one who did something wrong. I don't even know anymore. Oh, and get this. Ashley and Eric have hastily rescheduled their wedding at the Grand Hotel downtown. Sharon keeps telling everyone how much more it's costing them because of my selfishness. Though I'm pretty skeptical about who's actually paying for all this. I'm betting it's Sharon and Craig, since Eric's always talking about these big business deals that never seem to actually happen. And then, oh my God then, I ran into my friend Bethany at Starbucks yesterday, and she was acting all weird. Like, she didn't want to look me in the eye. I finally was like, what's going on? And she tells me that Ashley has been telling everyone that I reported Eric to the IRS for tax evasion, and that's supposedly why his business is being audited. I was like, what the actual F? I have literally never contacted the IRS about anything except my own taxes. I didn't even know Eric was being audited. I wouldn't even know how to report someone to the IRS. But apparently this rumor is all over our social circle now. So that explains why people have been giving me these weird looks. They think I'm some vindictive person who is trying to destroy Ashley and Eric's lives. It's insane. Then yesterday we were at Michael's cousin's birthday thing. I didn't want to go, but Michael insisted it would make things worse if we skipped it. I was in the kitchen getting some water when Sharon cornered me. She comes up to me with this smug look and says she hopes I'm satisfied with myself. I asked her what she meant exactly, trying to stay calm, and she starts going on about the financial strain the new venue is causing and how hard this is on poor Ashley. I told her that using my mansion was never an option in the first place, and no one ever asked me before making plans. Then she says, and I quote, "First you ruin the wedding venue, then you go after Eric's business." I was shocked. I told her I absolutely did not report anyone to the IRS and had no idea about any audit. She literally scoffed at me and said, "We all know you did it out of spite." Michael walked in right then and asked what's happening, and Sharon just says, "Your wife knows what she did," and walks away. Michael looked all confused, and I just felt, I can't even describe it. The worst part is that now several family members are refusing to attend the wedding in solidarity with Ashley, which is creating all these family rifts that go way beyond just me and my in-laws. I was accidentally included in this group text. Someone forgot I was in it, I guess, where they were all discussing the situation, and Michael's uncle literally called me the gold digger who got lucky with that mansion. I've been with Michael for 8 years. We were together for years before I inherited anything. How am I a gold digger? Sometimes I honestly wish I'd never inherited Rosewood at all. I love the house and it means so much to me because of my grandma, but the amount of jealousy it's created, I don't know if it's worth it anymore. That probably sounds ungrateful. I'm sorry, Grandma. Michael's been spending more and more time at work lately, and when he is home, he's distant. I try to talk to him about it, and he just says he's tired or stressed about work. But I know what's really going on. The court date for Ashley's trespassing charges is next week, and I'm so conflicted. Part of me wants to just drop the whole thing to try and make peace. But another part of me feels like, if I do that, I'm just teaching them that they can treat me however they want and get away with it, that I'll always back down eventually, and I'm so tired of backing down. But then yesterday, something happened that changed everything. Bethany somehow got screenshots of text messages between Ashley and the wedding planner from weeks before the confrontation at my house. In the texts, Ashley literally wrote, "Don't worry about my sister-in-law. She doesn't know it yet, but this mansion will be my wedding venue. I always get what I want." I don't even have words. She planned this whole thing. She was never going to ask me. The plan was always to just, force me into it, make it impossible for me to say no. I haven't shown Michael yet. I'm honestly afraid of how he'll react. What if he still makes excuses for her? I don't know what to do, but I know I can't back down now. I won't, even if it costs me my relationship with my in-laws, even if it strains my marriage. I have to stand up for myself because clearly no one else will. Edit. To those asking if I've contacted a lawyer, yes, I have a meeting tomorrow. I'm bringing the screenshots Bethany sent me. Several people have asked if the mansion is insured. Yes, it is. But honestly, that's not even the point. Insurance might cover damages, but it can't replace my grandmother's valuable old items or the historical features of the house. Some things are literally irreplaceable. A lot of you are saying I should make Michael go to therapy with me. We actually did try couples counseling last year for unrelated issues, but he stopped going after 3 sessions because he said it was just complaining for an hour. So yeah, not super hopeful about that avenue. Now for the second update. Guys, my husband finally found his spine. So it's been a while since my last update. For those asking about the court date, yes, it happened last week. After some really difficult conversations with Michael, I decided to go ahead with pressing charges, but agreed to reduce it from attempted breaking and entering to just trespassing. I was honestly shocked at how Ashley showed up to court. Like, she wore this super conservative navy blue dress. I've literally never seen her dress like that before, and kept dabbing her eyes with this little handkerchief the whole time. Like, where did she even get a handkerchief? Who uses those anymore? The whole thing felt so fake. The judge ended up sentencing her to 40 hours of community service and a fine of like $500. She literally gasped when he announced it, like she was in some courtroom drama on TV. I almost rolled my eyes at her reaction. The whole time, Ashley kept sticking to her story that I had initially promised her she could use the mansion and then cruelly took it back, which is complete bullshit. Sorry for the language, but it is. She never asked me, not once. And somehow half of Michael's family still believes her version. Like, am I going crazy here? And to those commenters who suggested I get therapy, I'm already in it, thanks. My therapist says I need to work on holding boundaries without catastrophizing, whatever that means, lol. So the wedding happened this past weekend at the Grand Hotel downtown. And no, we didn't go. We were technically invited, probably just so they could say we refused to come. But after I got like 4 separate threatening messages from Ashley's bridesmaids about how I better not show my face and how they would make sure I regretted it if I came, yeah, no thanks. Michael was actually the one who decided we shouldn't go, which surprised me. Michael's cousin Jenna went though, and she called me yesterday with all the details. Apparently the wedding was way scaled down from what Ashley had been planning, like fewer flowers, smaller cake, shortened reception. And get this, Sharon, my mother-in-law, spent half the reception going around to tables complaining about financial hardships and making these super obvious comments about family betrayal. Subtle, Sharon. Real subtle. But here's where things get crazy. Like, I can't even believe this myself. Last night, I was organizing files on my computer, I know, thrilling Friday night, and I found this email that had been forwarded to me by the wedding planner months ago. I guess it went to my spam folder or something, because I never saw it. It was from Ashley to the planner, sent before they ever approached me about using rosewood. It literally said, "My sister-in-law doesn't know yet, but we'll be using her mansion. I've already told everyone it's happening there, so she'll have to agree. Just act like it's all arranged when we visit." I literally sat there staring at my screen for like 10 minutes. Like, what the actual FK? She planned this whole thing from the beginning. It was never about asking me. It was about forcing me into a corner where I couldn't say no. I felt so vindicated, but also physically sick. She was trying to manipulate me the entire time. But wait, it gets even better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. Remember how everyone thinks I reported Eric to the IRS? Well, I found out through Bethany, whose brother works at an accounting firm that deals with some of Eric's business stuff, that Eric had been under investigation for suspicious business deductions for at least 3 months before I even knew they were engaged. The IRS thing had nothing to do with me. They've been blaming me this whole time for something that was already happening. I was honestly scared to show Michael all this. Like, what if he still made excuses for his sister? But I finally decided he needed to see everything. I showed him the email from Ashley to the wedding planner first. He read it twice, and his face just changed. I've never seen him look so troubled. I asked him if he still thought I had overreacted. He was quiet for a long time and then said, "I should have trusted you from the beginning. I'm so sorry." Then I told him about the IRS investigation that predated everything. And you guys, Michael got angry. Like, actually angry. He's usually so conflict avoidant that I barely recognize him when he shows strong emotions. He literally said, "They've been blaming you this whole time for something that had nothing to do with you." I couldn't help it. I started crying. I told him how isolated I felt through this whole thing, how it felt like everyone was against me, and even he wasn't fully on my side. He hugged me for a long time and kept apologizing for not standing by me more firmly. He promised he would help me establish real boundaries with his family. Part of me wanted to be like, "It's about damn time." But honestly, I was just so relieved that he was finally seeing things clearly. We didn't have to wait long to test those boundaries. The very next day, Sharon and Craig showed up at our house completely unannounced. They said they wanted to make peace, but it became obvious pretty quickly what they really wanted. Craig mentioned the considerable expense of changing venues at the last minute, heavily hinting that we should contribute financially to help with Ashley and Eric's wedding debt. I just sat there silently because I wanted to see if Michael would actually handle it like he promised. Michael asked his parents point blank if they knew about Ashley's plan to use the mansion without my permission. Sharon tried to dismiss it as just Ashley being enthusiastic. What the frick does that even mean? Then Michael showed them the email. Craig immediately tried to change the subject to family unity. Eye roll. Michael then confronted them about spreading the IRS rumor. Sharon denied being involved, but she couldn't even look at us when she said it. Such a bad liar. Michael told them flat out that we would not be giving them any money, and that in the future they needed to call before visiting our house. Sharon immediately started crying, of course, about her children turning against her, and Craig suggested I had poisoned Michael against them. Michael actually asked them to leave. Like, he literally said, "I think you should go until you can respect my wife." I was shocked. I mean, proud, but shocked. Here's a weird twist, though. Eric's mom, Carrie, called me privately to apologize for all the family issues. She confirmed that Ashley had been lying to everyone. Apparently, Ashley had already been turned down by 5 other venues because of her crazy demands before she decided to target my mansion. 5. And nobody thought to mention this to me. So anyway, we're keeping limited contact with Michael's immediate family for now. Some of the extended family members are starting to see through Ashley's BS, but Sharon and Craig are still being cold and defensive. Oh, and in a move that felt both healing and kind of petty, in a good way, I recently offered Rosewood as a venue for a charity fundraiser for children's cancer research. See, I'm not against sharing my home for good causes. I'm just against being manipulated and having people try to break in. The whole experience has been awful, but I think it's actually made my marriage stronger. Michael has finally recognized some toxic patterns in his family that he was blind to before. Apparently, Ashley and Eric are already having serious marital problems, just 2 months after the wedding. Jenna told me Eric's financial situation is apparently even worse than anyone realized. Part of me feels a little vindicated. I know that's petty, don't talk to me. But mostly I just feel sad about how everything unfolded. I keep thinking, what if Ashley had just asked me respectfully from the beginning, instead of this whole elaborate scheme of manipulation and lies? Maybe things would have turned out differently, but I guess we'll never know.